is a guy from Bukhara, one of the teachers working at a school called Millennium, and he recently pulled off an impressive 9 on the IELTS test.
Don't see any progress in my students. I try to learn something new myself. First of all, I blame myself, not students.
I'm sorry, it's just, when you said North Korea, I just remembered the videos I've lately been getting on my recommendation feed on YouTube about people who escaped North Korea.
After graduating the university, I applied to master's degree, and I was accepted with 100% scholarship there.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the COVID-19 broke away.
My recent Task 2 essay got more reshares than my Band 9 update.
The salary was twice as high as the average people can get here in Bukhara, in the city. But the problem was you should spend about 28 days there in a factory, and then you will have only 3 or 4 days off.
There are 60 or 79ers in Uzbekistan right now. Did you know that?
Juraev don't know. I mean, the time spent with him, every time, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how good you are, you learn something new.
Hardest choices require the strongest will.
First part of our life, we learn. And the second part of our life, we earn. And the third part of our life, we return.
Hey folks, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Astra Muse. I'm your host, Muhammad Ali here. Today, I'm going to be talking to another amazing guest. And the person we're having on the show today is a guy from Bukhara, one of the teachers working at a school called Millennium, and he recently pulled off an impressive 9 on the IELTS test. And I'm honestly so proud of the fact that now there are more Niners in our community. There are more people with excellent qualifications, and I can't wait to find out more about him. So if you guys are interested and want to know more about him, please keep watching this podcast. All right, it's time to finally meet our guest, Mr. Akmal Akhmedjanov.
Hi everyone. Hi.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Would you like to tell our audience a little about yourself?
So about myself.
Yeah.
My name is Akmal, as you know already, and I've been teaching in Millennium school for the last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, like the last week, my results came out, and it was 9. And this shortly about myself.
Yeah.
About me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
Briefly.
we'll get to the 9 later, 9 part later.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you say we talk a little about your past?
Okay.
So you're originally from Bukhara, right?
Yeah. I was born and raised here
Mm-hmm.
in Bukhara.
Bukhara. So what was it like growing up in Bukhara when you were a child?
So I was one of those ordinary kids who were born and raised in a family where everyone speaks Uzbek, Tajik, Russian, like mix of different languages.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied at gymnasium, which was different from ordinary school, having more classes. It was specialized for to English and math, and we had more English classes than ordinary schools. That means in ordinary school we have once, I think, if I'm not mistaken, once or twice a week, but there we had at least 4 times a week English. That's why I had better English compared to other people, like at university, at school, at let's say college or whatever I went. I had better English, better background knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Is it school number 38 or 39?
39.
39.
39 gymnasium, specialized school.
It's the one across the Bukhara Trade Center, Bukhara Shopping Center.
In front
right?
of it, yeah, exactly.
Right. I went to school number 38.
Really?
Yeah. That school number 38 also specializes in math and English, except I went there only when I was in 8th grade.
Only
for
1 year.
6 months.
Okay, good.
Only for 6 months, yeah.
I studied from the 5th grade till the 9th. We had 9 years.
What was it like going to a gymnasium school specializing in math? And I'm guessing It must have been rigorous, like it was in
Yeah,
my
a
school.
bit. It was a bit hard at the beginning because they accepted only through examination. In the fifth grade, I passed the exam and it was good. I think, I hope so. I don't remember clearly, but it was, yeah, a bit hard to study there, especially it was in the city center and I have to commute and I had to commute every day uh, by bus on by public transportation. That was the hardest part of it, commuting there every day. And what about study? The studies was this the studies were good. They compared to other schools, it was much better. I mean, the quality because teachers were all qualified, and especially my English teacher. I remember how I remember that day when she came in into the class and when she started speaking, I was mesmerized. And I think it is this fact, it was this, like her pronunciation, the way she spoke, like kindled the interest into English in me. And the I wanted, I look it up to her every time, and I wanted to have such uh, good pronunciation as she did. And the reason why she had good pronunciation, it was she uh, graduated one of the universities in London. She has
Wow.
been there and she came here and taught us. But unfortunately, she taught us for only a year, if I'm not mistaken, and she went back to continue her education there. So
Right, right. School life.
yeah,
And where did you go to for high school? Where
high
did you go for
school.
high school?
It wasn't actually like Mm, it was Polytechnician College. Yeah, Polytechnician College here in Bukhara. And my major, uh, can you guess my major?
I,
Try to guess.
my guess is probably I'm guessing math or English because you said you
It
specialize
was
in.
electrician. Can you imagine? It was electrician.
So you went from going to a gymnasium
Yeah,
to doing a practical skill in high school
yeah.
as your major, right?
hmm
So what? Why did you make that shift?
I don't know what happened, but
It was your choice or your parents made you do that?
probably my parent. I don't
Mhm,
remember that clearly. That happened
mhm,
on its own.
mhm,
I was no the plan. The main plan was entering the college
mhm,
and attending the classes like for several times a week. Let's be
mhm,
honest, not
mhm,
every day,
mhm,
and the rest of the time was like
mhm, mhm.
to go to courses to enter the university because that time we didn't have IELTS, we didn't have any certificates. We had to pass the
Mhm,
examination. Do you remember
mhm,
the times when we had to pass the exams
mhm,
from like subjects and it was really hard
mhm,
that time? That's why I decided to go that college
mhm,
and the rest of the time to
mhm.
spare for preparation for the
Right.
examination.
Yeah, that explains it. So on
Mm.
paper, you
Yeah,
are
just on paper. Yeah.
you on paper you are at
Part
school
of.
or at your high school, but
Uh-huh.
actually you are going to a cram school
Yeah, yeah. To
to prep for
courses, like
your
yeah,
university admission, which is what
exactly.
most students do these days,
Yeah,
right?
no,
But I don't think you can get away with it anymore, can you? Because I heard they have some National Guard
yeah,
come and
yeah,
check on
yeah.
students
It
every now
doesn't
and
work
then.
anymore. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. They have that national guards guarding the school,
Mm-hmm.
and every day they have they check through the list one by one.
Mm-hmm.
That is why most of the students right now they go to school and they don't have any chances to run away from the classes
Mm-hmm.
to attend some courses. They go it only after.
Mm-hmm.
It makes things like
Right.
much difficult.
And what happens if you don't happen to be in class when they call out your name? Are you going to be in trouble? Your parents
Yeah,
going to be in
yeah,
trouble?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, if they notice that you're not attending classes for several days in a row,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, they will notice your parents. They will
Mm-hmm.
warn your parents, and after several such warnings, you'll be fined.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fined. And if I'm not mistaken, first fine is about 400,000,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you skip, the
Mm-hmm.
higher you pay.
Wow. You ever heard any student or any
Yeah,
parent
yeah.
pay a fine?
I had several students actually who
Mm-hmm.
paid, like attended my courses, and
Mm-hmm.
they had to pay.
A fine,
Yeah, fine.
right? It is actually serious then.
Yeah,
It is. So it's not just
it's
all
one of the way like to keep students at school.
right, right. And why do you think students have to go to a different school or like do all these after school courses? Can't they just learn all this stuff at a public school?
No, actually, they can. I don't want to offend those
Mm-hmm.
teachers at
Mm-hmm.
school or to say something bad about that. But students right now, they have kind of, let's say, superstition,
Mm-hmm.
or they have that mind
Mm-hmm.
that courses is always better.
Mm-hmm.
And the teaching and everything in courses is always
Mm-hmm.
better and you get good results. And most of the time that's true, most of the time. But there are some schools where there are some amazing teachers as mine,
Mm-hmm.
where who can like teach even boring things in an
Mm-hmm.
interesting way, who
Mm-hmm.
can hook up the students, make
Mm-hmm.
them interested in the subject. But most of the time, like students, they have that in mind and goes to the
Mm-hmm.
courses.
Right. They have this deep
Yeah,
seated
deep rooted that thought.
stereotype
Yeah,
about
stereotype.
public teachers
Yeah,
and private school
private
teachers.
schools teachers. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
When in fact you have actually more decent teachers in some schools, as you
Yeah.
pointed out. In fact, one of our former students who got 8.5 overall is now working
Was
in the
from
public sector.
yeah.
Miss Medina Narzieva,
Mm.
former SC2 student, she prefers to work in the public sector because simply there's less pressure
Mm.
from parents
Okay.
and everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's more
And
chill.
most of the guys who have been here in
Hmm.
podcast, I think they were from presidential school,
Yeah.
from the school again. Yeah, not like went to the special courses or
Hmm.
something. They had their background. I mean, the base at
Hmm.
their schools.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you see a future where there's not going to be need for schools like ours anymore? You think that day is going to come where
Yeah, I think,
parents don't have to send their kids to these extracurricular courses?
and they may happen if government can somehow
Mm-hmm.
get teachers, those who work in these course centers,
Mm-hmm.
like involved, interested in working at schools.
Uh-huh.
The first way for that would be increasing the salary, probably.
Okay, let me ask you this then real quick. So, how much would it take you? How much money would it take you to get you to work at a public school?
Me
Yeah, yeah.
personally,
So, how much money would it take you to drop all your work, your business, your school?
should I name the exact school?
Yeah, sure, please. I, I'm guessing some government official is going to be watching this podcast.
And they
Right?
would start calling me and like
Yeah, sure. We can pay
offering me
that
the
amount.
price, offering me the price.
Just
Nah,
to
it's
give an
not.
idea,
It's not all about the
just to
money.
give an idea,
Yeah,
just to give an
bro.
idea. Theoretically, say if in a
Around.
scenario, in an imaginary scenario, how much would it cost the government to employ private school teachers to come in the private sector?
Probably starting from like 10 millions, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from 10 millions and higher, because
Right.
the life is getting more expensive day
Uh-huh.
by day.
Right.
Starting from 10 millions, and I think would be good. Would be, I think, starting point for the teachers to go and start working there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only about the money. I mean how you feel about the work, the work ethic, the atmosphere, the environment there.
Mm-hmm.
For example, meetings at school every time some of the teachers are really fed up because um, I had several students who work at school. They have, let's say, 10 classes a week,
Mm-hmm.
but they have to sit there at school waiting for the meeting
Mm-hmm.
the whole day.
That's
That's the thing. But in the course centers, you have flexible schedule. You can schedule your classes whenever you want, or you can cancel the classes if you have some mishaps, let's say. Huh?
right.
This is the same.
Right. Right. But you know what? I actually think it's so much better working in the public sector than in the private sector. I'm only saying that based off of the impression I have of the private sector, this which is the school.
Mm-hmm.
It and that impression is pressure packed.
Mm.
There's so much pressure
Mm.
on the school. because I know I'm very demanding. I know my partner Alicia
In private
is yeah. Well, this is an example of a private school like at Astra, right? It's a non-governmental agency, and we demand a lot from our teachers, and parents demand a lot from teachers as well because they're paying for their kids' tuition, which is something you don't have in the public sector. Even if there is long wait time for a meeting or whatever, the other times when you're not teaching, right? So you happen not to have a meeting or a class, you can just go and do your stuff there, business. So if I were a public school teacher, here's what I'd do. So 10 classes a day in 10 classes a week, not a day, obviously. 10 classes a week. That's roughly 2 classes a day, right?
Yeah.
That adds up to
2-3 classes a day.
that adds up to like 3 hours at most, 3 hours of work,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting paid $400 or $500 for that
Yeah, around
for
it.
that amount of work. I'm guessing the rest of the time you can just learn, mind your own business, learn a skill,
Mm.
right? You can use that time to skill up,
Yeah.
learn something online, watch tutorials, read.
Yeah, you can.
What's great about the public sector is you can afford yourself so much free time to do all these other things. The problem with I think the private, I mean, I've never been to a public school. It's what I'm saying is obviously based on my past experience of going to a public school. So most teachers simply sit and gossip, and they complain about all those meetings, right? It's time you're spending complaining about all those meetings. You can actually spend doing something else, right?
Yeah.
So if only they realized how much precious that time is.
Mm.
Like, and you only come to realize it when you're in the private sector where you get paid by the hour.
Yeah, by an hour, yeah. And you have to improve yourself nonstop, constantly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So 10 million sums to get you to go and work at a
No, not me personally. I mean, you said generally, just to
Generally,
to name
right.
the number. Yeah,
right.
it's
10
the
million
starting
sums.
point, I think. What about you?
Well, I think
How
the
much you
amount
should
you
offer?
named, the price you named is a reasonable amount. It's 10 million sums. And I actually think English teachers can make that much because I heard
Right
if you're
now?
an English teacher, you with a 7 or above,
With a
you get
certificate.
you get paid your salary, which
And
is
plus
roughly 4 or 5 million sums plus
around 5.
bonus,
Yeah, 50%
percent
bonus.
bonus. So
Yeah,
that goes up to 7.5, 8 million sims, which is not bad.
Yeah.
It's about that amount.
yeah. Almost the same amount. Yeah.
So anyway, right. So then, why do you think all these teachers working at private schools come to us, not go on? Because sometimes actually, I wonder, like all these teachers working at Astra, they just drop their work here, which is not something I wish for, honestly. But they could go and work at a public school, and they could still be making that money, possibly more, with a lot less stress and pressure.
Yeah, less stress. But as you said, it's not only about the money, it's about the chance to get improved. They need that pressure. They need someone to push them hard. They need someone to ask, why are you just sitting, not doing anything? Or you need this deadline in order to upgrade your score. And they will work on it. They will work, not just sit there, get salary or gossip, as you said, or just conduct the class and go home and do nothing on their skills. I mean, here in course centers, they have like obligations. They have a lot of pressure on their shoulders, not only from the boss, I mean head teacher, but also from the parents. They're paying money. They're looking at them. They want the result. It's not like school. You gave your children, you gave your child, and after 9 years you're getting him back, and that's all. No results or something, no intentions. But here they pay money. They wait, of course, something. They want to see change, and whenever that doesn't happen, they gonna be like some bad consequences for the teacher, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's why they come. First reason, I think, work on themselves, improvement. They can find here in the course centers.
Right.
And that pressure and being always forced forward, not just let free.
My feelings, though, they like it only when until they turn maybe 30, 35.
Yeah.
But when
And
they get
after that, they just go there in like public schools and start teaching there. Probably that's why we see a lot like old teachers
uh
there. Yeah, more old ones, mature.
yeah, and
Here,
the medium age in the private sector is probably 20 or something.
in the
Most,
private sector, yeah,
yeah.
around starts from like 1920
Mm-hmm.
till 30.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen here in Bukhara
Mm-hmm.
someone older than 35 maybe
Mm-hmm.
teaching,
Mm-hmm.
like except for Juraev. Don't mind those
Mm-hmm.
only uh, big players
Mm-hmm.
in the sphere.
I think
Accept them. Accept them.
see a lot of the teachers working in the private sector are young, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see any problem with young teachers?
The problem,
Yeah, in your personal experience,
yeah,
it's all nice that the fact that they're full of energy and they're so driven, and you sense that energy, right?
hmm
Right.
sometimes they're too frivolous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're too young sometimes because they don't feel that some of them, not most, just some, a few, they don't feel the responsibility. Sometimes they can even just cancel the class without noticing, or uh, they they can come late. They're not punctual. This is the main problem I've seen in like teachers that I came across.
Mm-hmm.
Punctuality was the main problem. They put the class at 10 and they start at 20
Mm-hmm.
maybe. That was the main problem. And then they're frivolous. They whenever uh, like based on my personal like experience, when I don't see any progress in my students, I try to learn something new myself. I first of all I blame myself, not students. And I'll try to find new strategies, new ways of explanation or working on their mistakes. I will start working first on their mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
then they do.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, some of the teachers they say, the kids are not that smart.
Mm-hmm.
The group wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say, I should work harder on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's this is the thing that I've noticed in some teachers, in some young ones.
Mm-hmm.
They, because in because whenever you see the problem, whenever you want something to change, you should start from yourself
Mm-hmm.
first, and then tell it like others to do so.
So, what is your reaction when you hear your teachers complain about their students not being bright enough
Mm.
or being too
Or they're
slow?
not preparing the
Right.
like homework and so
So, how
on.
do you go about that situation?
I have like training session. I
Mm-hmm.
will have training session with them, explaining everything. How
Mm-hmm.
does it work? How they should behave in that way? What should they do?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have an explanation class, like
Mm-hmm.
teaching everything from the scratch,
Mm-hmm.
like putting all perspectives, like
Mm-hmm.
explaining one by one.
Mm-hmm.
What like because whenever student they are bright, they don't need actually courses. They can study it on themselves. But we are here to teach and to change them. Yeah, we are here to sometimes whenever we feel they're slacking, they're not being that great, they're not doing homework, we are here to force them even sometimes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to give them that slap, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
wake up, the life is going on, and you're sitting there and doing nothing, yeah, and we are here to guide, to show the right way, and I'll try to explain this thing to their teacher, like I try to explain that they should be the guiding light in their life, in the life of the students, and like 90% of times that works, and they start looking at their students in a different way, and after a week or two, well, we see the difference in their scores immediately. But the teachers um, who feel no change, who don't want to change, we just say goodbye, we stop working with them,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no way, if they don't want to change and always will blame others in their faults, in the things that not going right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any ways of improving them. They have to first work on their character and then like start teaching.
Makes me really wonder how you go about your firing process? How
Hiring?
firing.
Firing
You said,
process.
you said that if the teacher
Mm-hmm.
doesn't pick up on your lesson, on your cue, doesn't change their ways,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mend their ways, how do you break them the news? They're not, their service is no longer required. You don't need them anymore.
Well,
Do you? Is
it,
it?
it doesn't happen immediately. I think that
Mhm.
will like the same as like the National Guardian is doing.
Mhm.
We're gonna notice them first. We're gonna warn them second, like
Mhm.
one time, second time, so like third time.
Mhm.
After several warnings and noticing, whenever we don't see any change, neither in the scores of the students, let's say, nor in their character or the way they teach, we just call them into office and say
Mhm.
and say that we are not required in their service anymore.
So you do it in person.
Yeah, yeah, I have to. I have to because we have standards, in order to be in this business. Because it's not just about the business. We're kind of having an impact on the life of students. It's their life. It's not a game or it's not something we can look frivolously. It's something serious. That means if they waste their, let's say, months here, how then I will look at the in the eyes of their parents and say, I'm sorry, we couldn't do that.
Mhm.
That's why. And plus we have standards, rules, strictly set rules and standards, and they should be up to, they should always follow. And if they cannot, then that's all.
And how does that make you feel when you're telling them they're not needed anymore? Like, do you say? Because I'm asking you this because in my experience,
Mm-hmm.
we had to let go some teachers, probably half a dozen until now, I guess.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And every time I do it, it's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not an easy conversation. It never is. So I was really wondering how it makes you feel when you tell them that they are no longer needed in your company.
Well,
And what is the usual reaction you get, response you get when they hear it?
well, first of all, I feel sorry, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because they've been with us for a certain amount of time. We accepted them into the family and they were part of us.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, we gave them several chances, not several, even many
Mm-hmm.
chances to work on them, to change. Probably it's not about, it's not this thing that they can immediately change themselves. They just need time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
They just need time to grow and realize that it's a serious thing
Mm-hmm.
that they're doing right now. For example, going into the class, it's not only about just going into the class and teaching several things and going out. It's
Mm-hmm.
about changing and forming, like shaping the people, because they don't spend 1 or 2 weeks with us. Yeah, they spend usually a year, close to a year, and throughout the year, and especially they come to us through whenever they are teenagers, like in their transition period. And this is exactly the moment when we can shape them as the useful part of the society. I mean, the citizens
Mm-hmm.
and the not just lazy ones or not just the person who knows English and that's all. We should explain them how to go the like after graduating,
Mm-hmm.
what to do, where to go, or how English can change their life and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So and the whenever I call them into the office, I try to explain all these things that I'm responsible for everything there, and it's hard, of course, hard to explain that thing to let someone go, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to in order to keep those standards, in order to keep the plank high.
Mm-hmm.
And the reactions, as for reactions that I get, most of the time they understand. Surprisingly, they understand most of the time. And sometimes they can say that they ask for another chance to work on them, to change. And sometimes we can offer that chance. Sometimes, depending on the the I mean mistakes they made.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we can over, but that's rare case. And what about you? How was your experience?
Well, last time we let go of a staff member, let go of a teacher, I realized it was a mistake. I made a bad mistake, a big mistake. It happened over something so trivial, but apparently it meant a lot to them. In my perspective, from my perspective, it looked insignificant. And the person I was talking to, our staff member, they're brilliant, they're smart, and broad-minded. That's one of the things I liked about them. Knew a lot, experienced, right? Jovial, funny, right? Charismatic, like everything you ask for,
Hmm.
right? So we were having one of those late night conversations, and we just kept going back and forth about the student case. I Long story short, I did not have the maturity and the wisdom to navigate that conversation.
Hmm.
I did not have the wisdom and the maturity to navigate that conversation, so it didn't end well. Didn't end well. And then the next day, they did something reactionary to express that they're not happy with what happened, and that was the final straw for me. I said, we can't have this person around
Mm.
anymore because they're sending the wrong message to other people working here.
Mm.
So I made the call to part ways with that teacher, and we did. And a couple of weeks later, I saw their post looking for a job. And I was thinking to myself, maybe these 2 weeks, maybe these 2 weeks, maybe these couple of weeks helped them. It obviously helped me to think things through, which I didn't do at the time because I was pressed for time. And I was thinking maybe we can just wipe the slate clean and start over. That was my intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them return. I had them come back. We had a nice talk. We and I thought we could turn things around and go back to how things were. But at the last minute, they had a change of mind and they left again. So to me, that was a personal loss. So that's the only time I think I made the wrong call in terms of staff firing. All the other instances, though, they were calculated. They were unanimous because I usually make these decisions upon consulting Alicia. Just make sure that I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? But that one particular case was different. Generally speaking, though, with most of the teachers working here, we're on good terms. I'm glad to say that we're on good terms. When something doesn't seem right or doesn't sit well with us, we're quite transparent about it. We bring it up on the staff chat. We like to talk about things in public and sometimes discreetly if it's too personal. And so we try to usually take the more solution-minded approach. Solution-minded. So it's a problem happened.
Solution.
Yes, there's a fault on your part. We also try to think. We also think that there is fault on our part too. The blame goes both ways. So let's get them the best help possible, and try to learn from that experience and just move on. Not get hung up on the problem. So that's what we're thinking, right? And that usually gets us answers. That usually gets us to the other end of the problem, right? But generally, though, it's tough. having
Yeah,
those talks,
it's
having
hard.
those conversations after having spent so much time together,
Yeah.
having been through a lot, and telling them that you can no longer be friends, which is the expression I use when I have to let them go.
Yeah.
This is the expression I use in my class as well. I said, if you don't do your assignment, we can't be friends
Friends
anymore,
anymore. Yeah.
right? It's a tough thing to say.
Yeah.
It's like getting a divorce, probably worse,
Yeah.
right?
But we're still
Mm-hmm.
friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after like
Mm-hmm.
being fired, also
Yeah.
we stay
Mm-hmm.
friends. We keep
Mm-hmm.
good relationship with each other. We still talk on Telegram
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and if they need help or when I need
Mm-hmm.
ask for something, we keep in touch with them still.
Mm-hmm.
That means we don't say just goodbye and just disconnect with them and cut all the connections or something. We just stop working in the same building, and that's all. The rest of the relationship, I mean, personal
Mm-hmm.
relationship, friendship, that stays.
Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Can we go back to your high school
Mm-hmm.
experience, because I really want to talk a little about more about your past,
Mm-hmm.
specifically about your
Preparation.
language preparation and preparation for your university, and a little bit about your university life as well.
Hmm.
So, at what point did you start cramming for English or IELTS? At what point, yeah,
IELTS.
at what point you got serious about English learning?
For IELTS or just English learning?
English in
That's
general,
English
right?
in general. It was before entering the university, just
Mm-hmm.
one year before entering the university. I just
Mm-hmm.
studied for a year to
Mm-hmm.
get into university, and I was admitted with the scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And I entered the university, and I studied there for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was studying there, I changed my mind several times, and something happened, and I decided to go to Korea,
Mm-hmm.
North Korea, to continue
North
my
Korea.
the North, not North,
North, yeah,
South Korea. Sorry, South
South Korea.
Korea, yeah, not
Yeah,
North. South.
not North,
Yeah, South
not
Korea.
North.
There, I decided to continue my master's degree there.
I'm sorry. It's just when you said North Korea, I just remembered the
They keep changing.
videos I've lately been getting on my recommendation feed on YouTube about people who escaped North Korea.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
They
I've
call
watched
them
them.
D something. They have the word for a defector. It's someone
The
who
people who
escapes a
run away.
runs away regime, and they talk about how horrible
Yeah,
they
yeah.
treat people there.
Okay.
If I mean if they catch you doing something as if they catch you so much as uh, saying one bad word about their leader,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
dead.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, that's
You're
so
dead.
strict.
Scary. So you don't
They
want to go
don't have
anywhere.
even internet. I heard that they don't even have internet there.
Mhm.
Is that right?
I mean, how would I know?
Because you watched that thing.
I did watch the video, but
Okay.
I don't know that much though. Right. Anyway, you
Yeah.
guys don't want to go anywhere near
We're gonna
North
cut it
Korea.
out probably.
No, we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it. It's a warning message. Don't go anywhere near North
Don't go
Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea, yes. The one you want to go to is South Korea. That starts with an
Don't
S.
go north. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I decided to go to the South Korea,
Uh-huh.
and I started learning Korean language,
Uh-huh.
and I studied here for about 6 months, 6 or 7 months, and got the certificate named Topic. It's the equivalent of the IELTS. I think I got Topic 3. It's the same as probably been five and a half, and 6 probably. And then I applied for the I applied after graduating the university. I applied to master's degree, and I was accepted with 100% scholarship there.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the COVID-19 broke out, and everything was closed down for quarantine, and I couldn't go.
How about online?
Everything was canceled. Online, the reason why I didn't study online was just I wanted to see the city itself. I wanted to go to Korea and to feel the atmosphere, to be there, not just to study, not just for studying. If I wanted to study, I could go to a bridge or other countries. My intention was to travel. And when it was like everything was closed down, I decided just to cancel everything because of the quarantine.
How about getting a what they call academic deferral? Like when
But
you
at that
postpone
time,
your
yeah,
studies.
postponed. But I didn't know how long it's gonna
Hmm.
last. I
Hmm.
mean, the quarantine. At that time, everyone thought that they're gonna die, let alone to study or
Hmm.
postpone their education or
Hmm.
something. Everyone wanted to survive
Hmm.
that time. Like the only thought we had, and seeing all
Hmm.
those rates, like people
Hmm.
dying
Hmm.
around the world, like millions of people every day.
Yeah.
That was terrifying, horrific. And my parents said, "No,
Mm.
you're not going anywhere. Cancel everything.
Hmm.
We need our son." Like,
Right. Right. There was so much hysteria at the time. You're right about how terrible COVID was.
mm.
Anyway, so plans canceled now. Then what was the next move?
Then I started working, and guess where again? The sphere, the place which is now related to my sphere, Inter Engineering. Have you heard about this place?
Inter.
Engineering. That's one of those construction companies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the, I think the biggest in Uzbekistan, which um, constructs the factories,
Mm-hmm.
fuel and gas factories, oil, I mean. And I worked there as a translator. I They were a lot of, I mean, guest workers, like from India, from Korea, and I was translating to our
Mm-hmm.
representatives from Uzbekistan between them. I worked there for a year, probably a year, and then I decided to just give it up and come back here and start learning English. The reason probably was my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like she kept telling me that although the salary was really good, the salary was twice as high as the
Mm-hmm.
or average people can get here in Bukhara in the city, but the problem was you should spend about 28 days there in a factory, and then you will have only 3 or 4 days off,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't enough to spend with my family members, and that means I was kind of cut off from the world. I spent all day, I mean, the whole months there.
Mm-hmm.
I felt myself as a kind of Robinson Crusoe in
Mm-hmm.
an like deserted island.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of deserted island there. And then when I came back, I felt how it's great to be in the city, how it's great to be around the people that you love, around the friends and everyone that you know. And I almost forgot how does it feel like having fun there. And then when I came back, I realized, nah, just like it was. Do you remember the writing task 2 question where it says which is more important, job satisfaction
Mm-hmm.
or salary? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, satisfaction or salary. And this was the moment when I realized that life satisfaction was more important than the salary.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to give up everything, although it was good salary and all the stuff, all the
Mm-hmm.
fringe benefits, laptop, phones, and all the thing there. I gave it up and
Mm-hmm.
just decided to come here, and I started preparing for an IELTS. And the interesting thing about that was, I think that was the shortest journey towards IELTS
Mm-hmm.
because I studied only for a month. And can you guess the score?
I don't know. 7?
8.
He got an 8 with month of
Yeah,
preparation.
yeah.
Wow.
That was the thing.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was the program and I mean, special program of Juraev Domlo that
Mm-hmm.
made that difference in my scores. Because when I came to the Millennium and I passed first mock test, it was about 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went through special intensive program. That
Mm-hmm.
means I spent the whole day there.
Mm-hmm.
I was the guy who opened the center in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy who closed it down. Like spent the whole day there.
Uh-huh.
And then after like 28 days, if I'm not mistaken, I decided to take the exam,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I got first like 8.
Wow. It's just
That was this.
intensive preparation, right?
Yeah, intensive. The whole
And
day spending there because I
right.
didn't work anywhere and I had the whole spare time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went there, work on
Mm-hmm.
myself there the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, and what I like about this system, your exposure into the English because you're surrounded with like-minded people. They're in the room you have 10 other people who have the same aim, who have the same level, who have the same intention, and whatever you look, people are studying, and you have no choice but to study. Yeah, that was the thing that made me like, because when I tried to prepare at home, that was cool for the first several days. I was motivated, but then I started giving up and wasting my time on Instagram and watching TV and all this stuff. And I realized that I need someone to push me, to keep me in that box. Okay, and that was Juraev. I went to him, like, and then, and one more thing about him, about Juraev Domlo, when I first met him, after like first, we talked about 5 or 10 minutes, but there was enough to like see potential in me. He just gave me he asked several questions, and after 5 to 10 minutes, he said like, okay, you're ready, and your level is practice, and you should go into this group and study this thing, and for this amount of time, everything is gonna be good. I said, wow, because I've never seen that thing before when I prepared for other things, for other subjects. There was the thing, and I felt the difference there. That yeah, I'm in the right place, and that like motivated me. And then like spending more time with him, I started realizing, yeah, this is the person. Wow, it was just wow.
Right, right. Shout outs to Mr. Giraffe teacher for setting all this up
Yeah,
and helping you out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's an incredible man.
yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about him
Yeah.
in a minute.
Hope so.
But before we do that, I would really want to talk. I'd love you to elaborate more on your language learning experience. So after you got 8, so what was the next move? At the time you were, you just,
I was hired there.
oh, you started work.
In Millennium, yeah, I started working in a Millennium. As I said, he saw kind of potential in me, and he said, "Okay." When I said that I'm ready to work, and I've got my certificate, and I've graduated the Bukhara State University majoring in this subject in teaching English. He said, "Okay," and I started teaching there for like, and I taught there for about like 2 years, because the last year in October we opened the new branch, as you know, the new branch of Millennium, and I was kind of and I started working there as a head teacher or CEO, as someone call it. Yeah, and then this is my journey into the English, and then somehow, I don't know what happened, we had kind of conversation with my students in the group, and one of them said, "Teacher, why don't you take IELTS anymore? Why you stopped like taking like resitting the exam?" And that made me thinking, like, they're actually right. Why haven't I passed the exam like many times? Because once I passed for the first time was 8, and I passed the second one only because I had to, because the first one was expired. And then the second time I got 8.5. And then they said, like, "Come on, teacher, we believe in you," and all the stuff, like motivating me. And then I decided to take the test, and it was 999, and only writing turned out to be 7.5, and I was disappointed with that one. And then I decided to retake it, and it turns out that it's 9. Like, they changed it to 8. I mean, in writing, from 7.5, it was changed to 8, and overall 9.
So what's impressive about your language learning journey is specifically IELTS is that you pulled off overall 9 in 4 attempts. I really wonder if there's any niner out there who's done it in 4 attempts.
Probably there are. When I posted my score on my Telegram channel, and I wrote that there was the 4th attempt that I got my certificate, that I got mine 9. One of the, I don't know, student subscribers, they commented that you're not alone there. There is one more. There is one more guy who got, yeah. What was that? Sir Dilmerod, or yeah, I don't remember the name exactly, but there was a comment on that. Like, you're not alone there. So I think that there are many more.
But it does not take anything away from your accomplishment, which is nothing short of impressive, if you ask me. Right? Because personally, it took me about 10 attempts or more to get my first 9. To get right, and you could pull it off in 4, which goes to show
Thank you.
how incredible that is, right? It's awesome. So, what was your reaction to getting a 9? Like, so when you found out that your score was changed to from your writing was changed from 7.5 to 8, and overall changed to 9. So, what part of the day was it?
I was actually teaching.
Uh huh.
I was actually teaching, and the results came out earlier. We were wearing the results for Tuesday, but they came out on Monday, the second part of the day. But most students' results came out in the morning, like close to 10, 11, 12, and all those students, all my students, they were aware that I resit the exam. They started asking me, "So what's up, teacher? Have it changed? Like, did they change the score? Did they change the writing? Is there any improvements?" And so on. They started asking me, and it made me feel even more nervous. I was so excited, and plus everyone is asking, "So what's up? Did you change, or what happened there?" And I started feeling nervous. But then after like checking out websites several times, I thought that it's not gonna come today. Like as usual, it will be released on Tuesday, and I just closed it and forget about the score and started continuing I was teaching, and that it was actually the last group, night group, evening group. I was teaching, and it was close to 7 or 8. We're having a class, and one of my friends like called me and said, "Hey, the results of other students who took the exam with you were released, and check out your score." And I went to the website and checked the score. Actually, my laptop was connected to the screen, to the huge screen where I was presenting the class, and everyone was sitting there and seeing the score, and I just decided not to turn it off and just let it go and refresh the website. And I saw this like the result, and I was shocked. And they were shocked, and there was a moment of silence for several seconds. Everyone just sitting, "Whose result is this? Whose result?" I said, "Mine." And I didn't believe it myself.
Your students probably thought it was a prank.
Yeah, exactly. I was sitting there and shocked. Everyone was shocked. Then suddenly everyone started shouting and like cheering up, saying, applauding, and so on. And then I felt myself on a cloud 9. It was kind of the second to none experience. I can't even explain it in words. I can't put them into words. It's just feeling. Everything goes into your mind, like what you did, what you went through to get the score, and how your like parents and teachers and everyone was waiting, hoping, and praying for you that everything just went through.
Who was the first person you shared that score with? Who did you text first after you got that score?
The first person, of
You
course.
texted or you called?
Parents.
Your parents. You called your parents first.
Yeah, first parents, and then Juraev Domlo. Actually, I went to his house to say it personally.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just spoil the moment and tell it or text it. I just want to see the real emotions. And then I decided to went his house, to go to his house, and I went and said it personally.
And what was his reaction when he found out?
Both of us were on cloud 9, probably. Most of us were shocked. We were shocked. We were amazed, and that we knew that it should happen sometime. It should happen, but not that fast. That was something amazing that couldn't be explained in words. Just
And it must have also made your staff happy because now now that you got one of their own got overall 9, and they got a leader who can help them do the same.
To do the same, yeah. They also got motivated, and some of them even started like attending the classes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, to get the score, to update their scores. Yeah.
Right. Things changed a lot. Obviously, things changed a lot.
How was your experience? Your first 9?
I wasn't honestly surprised that much. There's actually a video of me reacting to my first 9. It's all over
whenever you went to get the certificate, that part, you mean? There was IDP representative giving you certificate there.
Yeah, right. He showed me the score change on his phone, and
Ah.
Alicia happened to be there shooting a video.
You didn't know even that the score was changed.
I kind of had a feeling.
Huh.
I kind of had a feeling. As I, well, I had appealed my results, and then I didn't think there was any chance they would change my score from 8 to 9. It's practically never happened, probably in history of all IELTS exams.
On your writing, yeah?
Speaking. That was my speaking. Appealed my speaking. I got 2 9s and 2 8s. That was back in 2023, February 19, I guess. And I was beat down, honestly, when I got 2 9s and 2 8s, because I really thought that attempt I had overall 9. I appealed. Results came out 2 weeks later, or a week later, probably 2 weeks later. Yeah, it was 2 weeks later. It was March 3rd. And that morning, I'd seen someone else put out a 9. That was Mr. Bigzot. And so he made a post. Someone actually forwarded it to me and said, "Hey, the race is over."
The race over. We got first niner.
It was kind of a race at the time, which I didn't think I was part of, right? But people seemed to be hyped up about it, and they're like, "Okay, it's all over. Race, he lost it," and it's like, "Okay, whatever." And I didn't even think there was gonna be a change in my score. It was Alicia who told me to check my Gmail to see if there's any updates, and turns out there was. So I received a mail saying that your score has been changed, and I thought, all right, probably they changed it from 8 to 8.5. Right, I was honestly expecting 9, right? And then later that day, what happens? I tell him to call up his friends over IDP, because he's got a lot of friends. This guy's resourceful. He's got a lot of friends. Alicia got a lot of friends. I need to see my certificate, or I need to see my score, because it doesn't show on the website. The website is normally supposed to send you a letter.
Yeah.
Right? But mine doesn't have one. Yeah, I didn't get a letter, right? So I thought something was wrong. So, and then he goes to see them there, at this school called Abu Hafs, where they sometimes hold exams, and an IDP guy who's there helping out with the speaking interviews, he tells him to call me he tells him to call me to get there as soon as possible. And when Alicia calls me and tells him you have to come here to see your score update, score change, I realize it's a 9. I realized that, because if there's no change, he wouldn't bother making me travel all the way there just to see score change from 8 to 8.5, because he knows I'm not impressed with that, right? So, but I'm still not. I'm still not sure. I'm not still certain that it's overall 9, but I kind of have a feeling. So I go to the venue. I walk inside, and then I see him in the corner holding a camera. And that moment, I realize it's 9 overall.
It's 9, yeah.
So, okay, I'm like, okay, keep your cool. It's not a big deal, really. So, and then he looks at me, the IDP guy, with his phone on his hands, and he says, "Well, I am glad to I'm glad to tell you that your score has been changed, and here it is." He shows me the phone, the score on the phone, and I see it's overall 9. I'm like, okay, not bad. It's not that impressive, right? Because what I was thinking as soon as I saw that score, the moment I saw that score, I was thinking I have to do it again, because I was not. I thought it was a coincidence, and I think it was. It was a mere coincidence, right? And I was thinking about what people were gonna say about that score, because usually it's not something. Yeah, it's a matter of luck. You probably, the guy just got lucky. The guy just hit the jackpot. But I don't want to think that to myself. I didn't want other people to think that. Did I do my second attempt? Did I set the test? Did I set the test again to prove people that it was not luck, it was not a coincidence? Not exactly. It was more to prove it to myself than it was to prove to other people that it was that I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah. And then it all kind of got started. People started talking about it on social media. It was on news,
Mm-hmm.
on big
Yeah.
social media channels and news outlets like Kunuz, and people were talking about it everywhere. And then I realized it was a big thing. I got invited to a podcast, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because you broke the glass ceiling, yeah,
Hmm.
together with Mr. Akhmedjanov.
Yeah, probably. At the time, it was a big deal, but it is still a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a massive achievement. It's a massive achievement. People put in a lot of work and and uh, and then determination, right, and investment into reaching this level of excellence in language learning, and they obviously deserve credit for all their hard work. It's no easy feat actually getting over all nine, right? Even if you're a native speaker, I think
Yeah.
I doubt all native speakers get a nine
9, yeah.
in
Yeah.
on the IELTS exam,
Exactly.
right? Not as
It's not
especially,
only about the language because
right?
critical thinking is also involved in the,
Hmm.
especially in those true false not questions or
Hmm.
the headings,
Yeah,
all those
right,
questions.
right.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. I like that. So I now, what do you say we talk a little about your career,
Okay.
like as a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like when you were working at Millennium? So how did you feel working as a teacher, going from being a translator to someone who sits in one place the entire day and just talks, teaches stuff? How was that difference? How did that difference feel going from working at a factory, moving around place and talking to different people, to being in a classroom, confined area space, and talking to only just a few people every
Uh,
day, same people, right?
uh,
How did that feel?
it's I couldn't say that it was bad because at the beginning it was hard for sure.
Hmm.
It was hard sitting there and teaching all those kids and feeling that responsibility on my shoulder. It was really kind of stressful at the beginning, hard, but little by little I started looking at the bright side every time and
Hmm.
having people from all walks of life in your group and exchanging ideas with them and getting to know more things about them, their life, and the fact that you're making a change in someone's life and the change is positive, like always motivated me. And plus, I worked there with amazing people. I had great colleagues. It's not only about teaching, but also improvement
Hmm.
because we had training sessions every week and so, and they plus you have amazing colleagues who always supports you and teaches you. And every time I try to learn something new because there we not only teach but also try to like improve our skills. What I did was entering every teacher's class and trying to grab something new.
Hmm.
I mean, improving on my teaching. First, I worked to get IELTS, improving on my knowledge, and then after that, I worked on my teaching skills. I mean, I grabbed a bit of from every teacher. I can tell that for sure because I entered almost to all of the classes of the teachers in that center and got all the positive points and tried to implement them in my classes, in my own classes. And plus, I tried to bring in something new. I tried to change something and bring in new materials and the new teaching methods. And plus, on top of that, the best thing that I liked working in that Millennium was Juraev. I mean, the time spent with him, every time, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how good you are, you learn something new. Even several minutes spent with this man will change your world upside down, and you get new insights about the life itself, not only teaching, not only, I mean, being a good teacher, I changed it as a person there. Like he shaped me into another person, I can say. And starting this moment on, like my life was divided into two parts, like the moment before meeting Juraev Domlo and after.
Cool question. So, what's the most important lesson you learned from him?
The most important lesson,
What's something profound you gained from him?
well, there are so many things. I can't think about one thing here. One thing that I got.
Oh, you can mention a few things then.
So, first of all, I learned how to be a good teacher, how to behave, how to teach what to do, and the most importantly, he showed me how to solve problems. I mean, related to teaching. And then the second thing, can we talk about religious things here?
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the person who taught me, like he was the person who kind of encouraged me to pray. I started praying after meeting him, and that made biggest difference in my life. And starting to that point, I was totally another person, and I started looking at things positively as something given to us as blessing, not just I worked hard and I got this. Nah, it's something we were given. Yeah, it's not only about working hard, because there are so many people around there who work harder than me, or there are thousands of people who are more knowledgeable than me. But why don't they? Why don't they sit here in front of you right now having a talk? So that thing, um, something changed in my thinking, in my mind, and I started looking at the world from different angle.
All right. Yeah, it's life changing, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is a. I really want to follow up on what you just said here, because sometimes, actually, quite often, lately, I think about all the privileges I have in life, and in a moment of reflection, I realize that as much as I'd like to think I worked hard to get these things, those things, these things aren't really earned.
Yeah.
So there's this, it's kind of a fad going on social media saying that you got to work hard, hard to get the thing. Yes, the hard work is part of the equation, but it's not all there is to it, right? Because when you really think, like you said, there are so many individuals out there. There's so many people out there who are way, way more intelligent and hardworking than us.
Yeah.
But they may not be afforded, or they may not have the same privileges as we do.
Of course.
Right? And this is the part that is hard to explain. You cannot explain that with
exactly
hard work. You cannot explain that with lack of a particular quality. There's just missing piece there.
Yeah.
I guess this
should be something else.
Yeah, this is the part. This is the part where I guess it is a true blessing, like having these things and something to be grateful for. And like you said, it's so transformational in the way you look at the world, because it makes you realize how precious it is, the things that you've been given,
And to be
grateful for them, and that at any moment they can actually be taken away.
Yeah, exactly.
They can actually be taken away. So one thing I tell myself is like, I am one bad conversation or one bad accident away from my life turning upside down.
Yeah.
Just takes one bad conversation or one mistake or one traffic accident,
Yeah, exactly.
and your life is never the same.
Yeah.
And you see how,
And we should be grateful for
right?
every moment that we have. Yeah. I learned these things from him, to looking at the world always from the positive side, and always be grateful for everything you have, because we are given these things not for not having,
For a reason.
or not, yeah,
We're given these things
for
for,
certain reasons,
yeah.
and we should fulfill, I think, that reasons, or that targets.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the other thing about that kind of way of looking at the world is that it brings you so much peace.
Yeah.
This is, I see a lot of people going
Peace of
about
mind.
life with all these worries.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have this, I don't have that. Look at the other guy.
Yeah,
He
look at
has,
him. He's got everything, but why not me?
yeah,
And so on.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And your mind is in constant pain and worry and noise and chatter
Yeah.
that that distracts you from what you have or what you are capable of doing at
Yeah.
the moment. So in that sense, having that sort of perspective that things that are given to you are a blessing and that you should be appreciative of them, it brings you a lot of peace
Yeah.
that you need to be able to make the most of the moment, most
Yeah.
of what you
Most of
have
them.
right now. Make the most of the tools, the resources, the opportunities you have. Yeah, it is really transformational.
Yeah.
It's really life changing. You're right. You on right. And what was at some point you started, not kind of started. You and Mr. Juraev teacher like sort of split, right? Now
Yeah.
you're managing your own school, right?
Yeah. It's kind of branch,
Yeah, a
Millennium.
branch of
Branch of
Millennium, right?
Millennium.
So
Yeah.
what was your, how did you find out about this? So did he go to you with
Yeah.
this
It was
offer or
actually
you
his
came to
idea.
him with that idea?
It was
So
actually his idea. He
yeah.
said, like, it was time to fly the coop,
Uh-huh.
fly the nest.
Uh-huh.
And he said, like, it's time. And he's opening like new branch, and he wants to assign me here as the CEO, as to rule, to run that school. And I said, at the beginning, I was quite afraid of having doubts,
Yeah.
thinking, could I
Uh-huh.
do that? Like, that's
Or what if I let him
risk.
down?
Yeah, what if I fail? What if I can't do that? Or what if everything goes wrong? Or and I can't live up to his expectations. What would happen then? Because I was safe there at school. I was safe there, having my like several classes, teaching there, improving on my skills, and like having good results. But there was entrepreneurship and all that new school running the school, not only being as a teacher but also as CEO, and like controlling everything there was totally different thing, which I have never experienced it. And at that moment he said, just start and you will see. Just start, have good intention, and you will see that it's going to be okay. And he was the person who believed in me at that moment, and his belief in me like motivated me to do so. And I agreed. I said, yes, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And then in October, we, with some of my apprentices, there in Old Millennium, we worked with my apprentices. We hired some of them. I mean, my students, my former students, we hired some of them, and we decided to go to a new branch with several teachers. And this is how we started that thing.
Right. Right. And what were your early days of running the school like? Like the first month you moved in.
First months we moved in, I there was sleepless months, I can say. I worked 24/7. I didn't even like, sometimes I didn't even leave the school. I slept there. And from the very morning till late night, I worked on a program. I tried to find out the way how to enhance the program, how to work with the teachers. And every time, almost every day, I called to Juraev, told him, hey teacher, how would you solve this problem? How would you solve that problem? And I every day asked like advice from him. And at first, it was hard, really hard, controlling everything because I was new in that sphere. I've never kind of run any business, or I've never controlled like several people. And here they gave me about like 7 or 8 teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and plus almost around 200 students.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, I was responsible for only 20 or 30 students in my 2 or 3 groups. But here I have 20 groups. Now the responsibility increased.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the beginning, it was hard. Sleepless nights. I stayed there. I checked all the cameras. I controlled everything, every single class. I even watched all of the classes one by one. And but I can say that they were the most fruitful nights.
Mm-hmm.
I come up with new ideas, and we worked hard with the whole team. It wasn't only me like giving everything; it was the whole team. We did great job at that time, I think, and still we have the fruits of that hard work because now everything goes smooth
Mm-hmm.
because of that hard work that we have done at the beginning.
Right. So starting out, how many people did you have in employment? How many teachers
Probably
did you have at the time?
7, probably. It was 7.
And how big is the school now? Only the
More th-
teachers part. The
Only
teachers.
teachers part. It was more than 10. It's more than 10 right now.
Or more than 10 teachers.
Yeah,
Well, it's
more than
pretty
10.
big school.
Yeah,
Pretty big
more
school,
than
right?
10.
And right. And what are some skills you developed during the time you worked as the school head?
Probably communication skills. Because I should not only communicate with the teachers, but also parents every time
Mm-hmm.
and solve out the problem. And the second skill would be problem solving,
Mm-hmm.
because whatever problem we have at school, it's not the only teachers or students' problem, it's our problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to solve that problem collectively together with all teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hide the problems, or we don't say, it's your problem, it's not my fault. We just get the problem, treat it
Mm-hmm.
into the middle, and try to solve that problem all together
Mm-hmm.
to find the ways and problem solving skills. And then probably time management, because coping I mean both teaching and running the school requires great time management skills, because I have to spare time for everything, for talking with the parents, plus conducting my own classes, controlling the the classes of other teachers, plus working on the reputation of the school. Social media a little bit. Doing all this stuff is hard, and it requires clear time management skills, strong time management skills. At the beginning, I was a bit messing up, but I think I manage it good right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I learned how to do it.
Right. Right. How would you rate yourself as a leader on a scale 0 to 10?
I can't rate myself because it really depends on others. How do they see me?
Right.
And
And what?
I can't
All
say
right.
I'm
Then
a, I'm a,
what are
I'm a
your
great.
what are your teachers have to what do your teachers have to say about you as their leader?
I hope they have positive vibes about me, positive opinion about me. I hope so. Sometimes, yeah, I know that I'm rude with them sometimes, because I get easily nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Even the smallest thing makes me nervous, and I can't help myself, like talking bad to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, I've learned to control myself. Nowadays, I hope I total different person, and I control my emotions, my things, and I think, yeah, I hope that they have positive emotions about me, positive opinion.
Right. If we got any Millennium teachers watching this podcast
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now, please
right, yeah.
leave what you think of Mr. Akmal as a leader in the comments below. Okay.
Leave your opinions in the comment section.
Yeah. Right. Right. Sure. So now that you got 9, What is next?
As you said,
What do you see yourself doing in your professional, in your capacity as a teacher, as a professional teacher?
for right, I was thinking about different thing, but right
Mm-hmm.
now, after listening to you, as you said, I received the exam in order to prove that it wasn't a matter of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to pass it again and check whether
Mm-hmm.
I could pull up the same 9,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll see. We'll see. Right now, my next goal would be getting 9 again.
Yeah, right,
Getting
right.
9 again.
And not just so much to prove to yourself that you can get a 9 again, even if you didn't have that, I think as an IELTS instructor, as an IELTS teacher, you should be sitting tests on a
Yeah,
frequent basis
to keep upgraded, to keep
to
to keep,
for
to see the format, how it's changing, what's changing inside, what's happening in the kitchen there.
right, right, in the kitchen, what they're cooking in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, what's good.
So and it's like very much like the quality check inspection they do in public schools every year. They get their teachers to
Take
sit the
exam.
sit a qualification exam, and I think we need that standard in the private sector as well,
Yeah,
right? So
upgrading their results every year. Yeah,
or at least getting the same score, right?
yeah, yeah, being at the same level at least.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is one of the reasons. This is one of the many reasons why I still retake the test. People think that it might be for just public publicity, public stunt, media stunt, but not exactly. It's like this time I said the test. I was thinking to myself, well, last time I said the test was back in April, right? It's been almost half a year now. Like it's time. It's time.
Let's see what has changed. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what's changed. Exactly. It's curious. You want to know, right? Right. This is one. And the other thing that really helps you stay grounded because some days you don't get what you want. You get 8.5,
Yeah.
right? Or you get a lot lower than you expected. And it's kind of a wake up call. Says things been going great, right? Time to get back on the saddle.
Yeah.
You got to start putting in the
hustle
work
hard.
again, right? And that's what my thinking when I'm retaking the test. It's not so much because at this point it's not to me as satisfying getting overall 9 as it used to be, right? Because now that this thing seems achievable, possible, right? A while ago, people thought it was impossible. So you got that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
If you got a 9, you say, wow, I did what other people can't do. So it must be different. I must be different. But you don't get that sensation anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
But it's still kind of big achievement.
It is. It is. It really is. Right.
How many we have? Like how many Niners we have around the Uzbekistan? Like more than 15 right now.
But no matter how many Niners you have over in Uzbekistan, all over the world,
Look
it's
at the
still as a
percentages at the rate. It's the 0-1, if I'm not mistaken. The Niners, the average scores.
how do you mean?
I mean, overall, who passed the IELTS? I found out the table when it was said that the only 2% of people who pass the IELTS get 8.5.
Only 2%.
2% of all of those people who pass the IELTS get. So we are one of those 2%. And at that time, when I think it was 2 years ago when I found out the table, I should look at the updated version now. And the Niners rate was less than even 1%. It was 0 something, 0.5%, let's say.
Yeah. Still, right. This is pretty impressive
Still
achievement.
impressive, yeah.
You're right. That it it goes to show that you've mastered the language to the point where you can communicate it and understand it as well as a native can, possibly better, right? And yeah, that's something to work towards. That's something to look forward to. You're right, right. So what do you say we talk a little about now your personal interests?
Okay.
Like, so what do you find yourself doing when you're not at work or when you're not studying a test? So what are the things you do to keep yourself busy outside work, like your hobbies?
Like, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have free time at all.
Mm-hmm.
I spend almost the whole day. I come at 8 in the morning to the center and leave it close to 9 or 10. And the only thing I do is just go home and sleep.
Yeah.
But whenever I have free time,
Uh,
I love to spend that with my friends, probably going
mm-hmm.
outside, going somewhere, having chat,
Mm-hmm.
because I rarely get to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And besides that, I go to the gym.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, I used to go to the gym,
Uh-huh.
but that was about a year ago.
So why'd you stop? Work?
Yeah, yeah, work and my schedule.
Uh-huh.
Schedule change it. At that time, I used to have like less groups, and we didn't have this new branch. I was just teaching there in Millennium, and I had more free time.
Mm-hmm.
But since we moved to the new branch, like I gave the whole day, I mean, all of my time to the center. That means, but if I got time, I would go to the gym probably
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Right.
I would spend it in the gym because this is not only the to look good, but also it's the place where you can think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people say that you go to the gym in order to look good, to show off, and to gain muscles and so on. No, it's a great place to think about
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in your life, mm, to reflect everything that's going on in your life, and plus some pulling up some weights. Yeah,
Right. Right.
pushing up.
It's a good thing you have that perspective. I used to have that perspective when I started working out.
Mm.
But when you get older, I'm not that old, but I find myself doing that a lot when I'm at the gym. When you get a little older, gym becomes a place for socializing
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than working out.
Yeah.
Gym becomes a place for socializing because I've lately been spending a great deal of time just chatting with my trainer or
Yeah.
other gym
You
goers,
taught him
other people.
English as well, if
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. We always
He
speak
started
English.
speaking English.
Yeah, we always speak English. And I actually hate that about myself because when you're at the gym, you're supposed to work out. I feel like I've really lost that focus and that clarity I used to have. I don't know if it's change a bad change,
You
positive
mean
change, but
workout oriented? You mean
yeah,
just
yeah. I used to be that guy. I used to make sure that I wouldn't use my phone when I'd be working out at the gym, not answer calls, or just focus on the work I was doing.
Mm.
Mind muscle connection. That's what my trainer always tells me. Mind muscle connection. But all of this now gone out the window,
Mm.
right? And I'm saying that to you just to kind of give you a heads up of what's
Yeah,
coming,
yeah.
right? Whatever you do, don't become that guy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm having a hard time pulling myself out of that state and putting myself back into workout mode. Really want to be focused, like you said, when you're at the
Did
gym.
it somehow affect your, results,
100%,
productivity there?
100%. When you work gym workout oriented, you go there and you get down 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises,
Mm-hmm.
right? 3, 4 reps, 3, 4 sets each. Right? But when you're like me, you go and you barely get through 2 exercises.
The rest of the time spent is talking.
Just talk exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
So that's not ideal. That is not ideal.
Okay.
You do you watch movies or podcasts every now and then? Or I actually feel weird asking you that question.
Movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watch.
because usually when I have older guests on the podcast,
Okay.
they I don't watch movies honestly these days anymore because simply don't have the time.
Yeah, exactly
And
the
I
same.
wonder if it's the same with you.
I sometimes maybe
Mm-hmm.
once a month, probably only whenever we have big premieres.
Mm-hmm.
I watch only. I try to find the time to watch these premieres. I mean, the last movie that I watched was the Transformers. It was several months ago, probably the new one.
They made another one.
No, the new one for me, maybe old one for you, because it was long ago. The Transformers, the about the animals there. Have you watched that? No.
The dinosaurs,
Yeah,
dinosaur
exactly.
Transformers. It's an
Yeah.
old one. And
The-
Transformers 6, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the one which I watched, it was Deadpool 2.
Hmm.
It was
Oh,
Deadpool the second.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. But I started feeling that all this industry is getting
Hmm.
more like of a comedy rather than
Hmm.
serious show, because the the Deadpool first, it wasn't that like funny.
Hmm.
Right now it's full of like jokes. Every second you have a joke there.
Hmm.
But I don't like such movies, to be
Hmm.
honest. I like the serious movies like Captain America, let's say,
Hmm.
or
But that's the character difference, though.
mm,
I'm a bit of a Marvel guy here,
yeah,
so I
yeah, I know
comics
that.
comic books
Uh
guy,
huh.
and Deadpool is what they call the merc with the mouth,
Mhm.
the guy who talks a lot.
Mhm. Okay, let's
This
say,
is
what
he's
about Thor?
chatty.
What about
Thor
Thor?
though is they made it complete joke.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. When I compared the first movie with
Uh-huh.
the last one, it's total different thing.
Uh-huh.
It's more of a comedy rather than
Hmm.
serious movie about the Thor, the
Hmm.
god of like
Thunder.
yeah, god of thunder, son of
Yeah.
Zeus.
Yeah. Odin's son,
Yeah,
actually.
Odin. Sorry, yeah, Odin. Yeah,
Because you're gonna get fact checked on this by Marvel fans
yeah.
watching this
I'm not a
podcast.
Marvel fan. Just, I love watching those movies,
Yeah.
like Avengers. That's
Right.
great movies, by the way. Avengers.
But you're right. They made a complete joke
Yeah,
out of Thor.
yeah.
He used to be that serious character, had some sort of masculine energy to him, but
Hmm.
you didn't have that anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Feels so feminine.
yeah. What about the Venom?
Hmm.
The same thing. The
Hmm.
first Venom was kind of a scary movie,
Hmm.
a bit of scary. The mix of action
Hmm.
plus the fantasy. But
Hmm.
now, right now, I haven't watched the last one, but from the comments that my friends gave me,
Hmm.
it's a trash. They
Hmm.
said that's a trash. Don't even waste your time watching this.
Hmm.
They made it kind of music opera. Yeah.
Right.
It's a more of a like how is it called?
Musical.
Musical. Yeah,
Musical.
musical. Yeah.
Right.
It's more of a musical now rather than serious movie. Yeah.
So movie industry is dying. Is that what you think? Is it
Probably.
people not watching movies anymore?
Yeah.
Everyone is on Netflix now and watch TV shows, K
Maybe
drama.
people are still watching, but we are
Mhm.
like
Growing out of that
growing out
age.
of that age. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because whenever I was young, we were playing, let's say, computer games
Hmm.
a lot, going to computer clubs and playing that thing. And right now, if I look past 10 years, I've never been there.
Hmm.
And I sometimes think that, is it true only about me
Hmm.
or about everyone? But when I tried to check this fact and went there, it was full of people.
Hmm.
It was full of youngsters. And I realized that it's just me,
Hmm.
just went out that thing,
Yeah.
just stopped doing that.
We're just getting old.
Yeah, yeah, probably,
Just getting old.
probably. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're almost 30.
Yeah.
We are almost 30. Like
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
past my, yeah, I'm past my mid 20s and you're past
yeah,
your mid
of course. Yeah,
20s.
yeah. I'm
Right.
close to 30.
Yeah.
I'm even older than you.
Yeah. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird that we're getting
We
old?
passed almost a third of our life.
Yeah.
Almost a third.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Right.
why.
And what are some what are top three movies you would recommend everyone should watch?
Everyone should watch.
Hmm. Your top three picks.
Mm, let's say Avatar
Hmm.
first, not the second, not third.
Okay.
Not. I think we have two avatars. Yeah, only.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They made only
the
two.
first one because of the graphics.
Hmm.
At that time when it was released, it was something new,
Hmm.
the next level. And the probably should I name the fantasy movie or just
Hmm.
movies?
You can any movie. You top three favorites.
The
Three movies
Avatar.
you keep coming back to.
Mm. Avatar, Avengers,
Hmm. Which one? They made three of those.
Final,
Four actually.
Final, Final.
Last one.
The last one.
Avengers Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
Right. What did
That
you like
one?
about that movie?
The Thanos. The Thanos. I mean, his character,
Uh-huh.
his readiness
Uh-huh.
to do everything
Uh-huh.
on the path to achieve
Uh-huh.
his dream, his success.
Uh-huh.
And he said, there was a quote there, only the strongest minds. What was that quote? I'm sure that you know that.
Okay, just give me a moment. It says,
Only strongest minds do the
No, no, no.
hardest decisions
No,
or
it's
something
not.
like that.
hardest choices require the strongest will.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Just remember the
Cool.
quote.
Yeah.
Hardest choices require the strongest will.
Yeah.
That was dope. Yeah.
Then Avengers, the second movie. It's hard to pick up. It has been a long time since I watched the movies. I forgot most of them. And what's that? I don't.
We can just end the list. We could just end the list at 3 if you want.
Okay, let's
Or
say
unless-
Transformers.
Transformers.
Yeah, the first one. The first one. Transformers.
Yeah, the first 3 Transformers were great.
Yeah, because they were actually transforming
Uh-huh.
into someone, and we saw then the graphic was different. But right now, they just magically turned into the animals, some
Right.
kind of animals.
And plus,
All the wheels, all the things just disappear there. But
Yeah.
in the first one, we saw how they transformed, and they were wheels, the bumper, everything was there.
And plus, the people not happy with the visuals.
Yeah,
The CGI sucks.
The CGI, yeah, they changed a lot.
If you go and watch the Transformers 2 the other day, I was watching some shorts and someone commented on.
shooting in one room with the green background.
Someone said the Transformer 2 was the peak of CGI. It was the best CGI human ever made. Transformer 2. The second one, the one where the giant Transformer climbs up the pyramid.
Oh,
and
yeah,
starts,
yeah. The huge one started like eating everything.
removing the top.
Yeah.
That was the peak of CGI, right? And the story was also rich.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah,
But
especially
you don't
the
feel
old
that
Transformer jet, the jet,
the jet one.
the
It's
old one,
the Decepticon.
Decepticon, the jet which decided to move into to Autobots.
Yeah, right.
That was also a cool one.
Yeah, right.
And he sacrificed himself at the end, gave all his equipment to the Optimus Prime.
Yeah, right.
That
right,
moment when he wore the new equipment and just
You
like upgrade.
You still remember those scenes?
Yeah, because they were my favorite movies at that time because they were something new that standed out of the crowd of other movies. Because the Avatar, that was first movie, which jumped like several years ahead of industry. It was something new in terms of graphics, especially when you watch that on the huge screen. And it was the time when 3D first came out. And it was the first movie which I watched in 3D. It was totally different. It was just mind-blowing. And then Transformers, I think they were released before. Yeah, I think. Then Avatar.
Transformers, Avatar. Avatar came out in early 2000s, 2010, 2011, 2012, you're right.
12 probably, yeah.
Yeah, Transformers came out before that.
Before that, but
2006, 2007.
yeah, there was the cars transforming into the robots. And seeing them walking and fighting and talking, that was something like out of this world experience. Yeah.
Different. Right?
Yeah, different. That was I missed those days, you know.
You get hit with a wave of nostalgia when you think about
nostalgia.
those days, right? Those are fun times.
Yeah.
Being adult is not bad either, right? Speaking of being adult, what is it like being a dad?
Being a dad,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
You have a son, right?
Yeah, I have one son.
Yeah. So how did your life change once you became a dad?
First of all, it's sleepless nights. Because in the middle of the night, they just woke up and just say water. And you have to wake up no matter what. You have to wake up and go with them to the kitchen to grab some water and check whether this water is not cold.
Right.
And all this stuff. But all in all, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. You know, my life changed, and no matter how tired I am, no matter how exhausted I am, no matter how stressed I am, I just go home.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever this guy just runs and say, "Hey, dad," and just
Mm-hmm.
dad. He can't even speak right now. He just say dad, and even those two syllables, dad, makes your day bright.
Mm-hmm.
He's just my source of inspiration and happiness, I can say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden you have more reason to live,
Yeah,
to
of course.
exist, right?
Of course.
Your life becomes so much more meaningful
Yeah.
with kids.
Yeah. Now I realized what my parents meant, that
Mm-hmm.
whenever they say we're living for you,
Uh-huh.
yeah, everything we have is for you and we're living for you. And right now I can tell the same to my son,
Mm-hmm.
because in the past I was always thinking like what I'm gonna do, what I will do, and all the thoughts was about about me. But right now, what I'm gonna do to my son, what I'm gonna do, or what can I do to do it better, to do it like to change something in the life of my son. Although he's young still, but I already have those
Mm-hmm.
thoughts about his future, not
Mm-hmm.
not only mine and all, but also his future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it changes you as a person, right?
Yeah.
It's cool. So what are qualities? What are some qualities you picked up as a person once you became a dad? Qualities.
Qualities:
Yeah, other than the things you mentioned.
kindness,
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, because every time, whenever someone else may break something, I start scolding and blaming and all this stuff. But whenever he breaks something,
Mm-hmm.
I say, "Good, continue, go ahead. This is the
Mm-hmm.
second one. Come on, do it again."
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the
Did it also teach you to be more patient?
yeah, being patient. Uh, yeah, patience is one more quality
Mm-hmm.
which I got through after being father. Yeah.
It's such a profound experience. I don't have my own kids, but there's one time I was giving someone else's a kid a ride. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
I picked them up from school, right? Because they were busy,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just doing them a favor. And so I go to school to pick her up, and then she starts telling me how her day went, and she starts telling me about all the things she's learned. Right? She's
Mm-hmm.
only 6 or 7, right? And and then you, and then you start teaching them the things
Mm-hmm.
and or kind of relearn some of the experiences you had in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a it's a it to me it felt weird, honestly, a little weird, and at the same time completely okay with having to relearn the same things all over again. Like when I'm teaching a class, sometimes I may not be entirely comfortable telling them the same concept all
Again and
over
again,
again,
yeah,
right?
all over
Right.
again.
But when it's your own kid, or
Yeah.
yeah, even if it's the
You feel
dumbest thing
comfortable.
to
Yeah.
do, you gladly
Yeah,
teach
you'll
them.
feel happy teaching that. And plus, after teaching that, whenever you see their achievements, you
Mhm,
you feel happy, for even more than you felt
mhm,
happy for your own achievement. For example, when my kid started walking first,
mhm.
I was so happy. I was even happier than I got now. You know that when he started walking, when he made first several steps and walked toward me, or whenever he said first "dada,"
Uh-huh.
father, like that was amazing. The and now I understand that these moments are like worth to live.
Mm,
These moments, like we should live for these moments, to see these moments. And now I understood why people say that children are a blessing.
mhm. Right. A- After this conversation, I can't wait to become a dad.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So much more convincing.
and the more you
Right.
have, the better.
Right. Kids. Kids are great.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we've been going on for almost 2 hours now. But
really.
before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
the usually we talk a little philosophy towards the end of the podcast. So, would you like to tell our audience what's your life philosophy at this point in life? Because people
Hmm.
change their philosophy, obviously, over the years. They become different
Okay.
person, take on different mindsets and mentalities. So, how would you describe your personal philosophy at this point in life?
Personal philosophy.
Hmm. So, what gets you up in the morning other than you're a kid, your baby? Yeah.
Is the first reason why I get up. But jokes apart, I think that making difference in people's life, I would say going to the center and started teaching and making difference in those lives, the lives of those kids, and playing a part in building their future. This is what motivates me every time. And no matter how hard it is, I would keep grinding for my students because I'm there to help them to build their future. Because I realize that we are already almost, as you said, we're almost in our 30s, and we've already have, let's say, I hope so, we have solid career already. We have built our career, and now it's their turn to build their career into their future. And you and I are the people who can help them on the way to achieve their success in their past. And I think that having this chance to be part of their future, to be uh, part, to play a part in their life is a great blessing, and I love that.
Hmm.
And this is the thing which wakes me up early in the morning and keeps me awake until night. And I will always try to improve myself with them. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so spot on. No one could have said it better, honestly. We, it's our moral duty,
Yeah, duty.
obligation to help young people
Mm-hmm.
to make it in life and to make sure they they leave a better world behind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not really about us, it's about them.
It's about them. Yeah.
It's not about them, it's about their kids.
Yeah.
So we make it last long.
We should make sure that they will have a great future, because I watched that in the YouTube that it was one of the basketball players said that strong times create tough people.
Hmm.
Tough people create good times. Good times create weak people. Weak people create tough times. And we should make sure to create strong people right now
Hmm.
in order that not to have those tough times again.
Hmm.
So I think this is my philosophy, to help them as much as possible to build their future. Because first part of our life we learn, and the second part of our life we earn, and the third part of our life we return.
Hmm.
And I think we're at that part where we have to
Hmm.
return all the things we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I really like this part. So, so you put it so eloquently. First
Part
part of your life,
life we
you
learn.
learn, and then you
Second part
earn.
of our life we earn, and the
Mhm.
last part we return.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that quote. Okay, I'm gonna use that on our
First,
next staff
yeah.
meeting. It's really good. It's really good. That's so profound. Right. So, what's something you would tell your younger self if you could travel back in time? Talk to your 16, 17-year-old self.
Okay, keep going. You're on the right way.
Hmm.
Do whatever is needed. Just do it. Don't give up and keep grinding.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something you would tell other 16, 17-year-olds out there, probably.
Yeah, of course. Of course. They have to work right now in order to have a rest later.
Hmm.
Because when they're young, when they're still young, they have to do everything that is possible
Hmm.
to, first of all, enhance their knowledge. Because knowledge is the only thing they can lost. They can lose.
They can't lose,
They
right?
can't lose, yeah.
Right.
They can lose money, they can lose health, they can lose, let's say, all that fame or
Hmm.
status they have, but
Hmm.
knowledge is the only thing which stays with
Hmm.
them, no
Right.
matter what. And with that knowledge, they can gain everything again, all over again. They can start over.
Right. Right. But a quick addition here. At the same time, they should not forget to take good care of themselves. What I mean,
Yeah, yeah, of
health-wise,
course. Health is
health-wise.
really important. Health is really important because you know humans are strange like beings, let's say, because most of the time we work hard, we lose our health in order to earn money, and then after earning that money, we spend that money to earn that health again, to find that health again. So that's why we should just balance both.
Right, and not fall
Yeah.
victim to this
Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
vicious
this
cycle of
cycles,
making money, losing at the expense of your health, and then
Yeah,
spending
and
all
then
that money
spending all that money to earn
trying to get
health.
that
Yeah.
health back. You're right. You're right.
Uh,
And that's something I learned the hard way, honestly. Right?
Yeah, you
I
had
used to be,
trauma.
huh?
Yeah, you had trauma or something
I
when you were working out. Yeah,
that yes, that's one of the silly
injury you
things I
got.
did in the
Yeah.
past. This is one, and the other thing is I've lately been experiencing some serious health issues, and thankfully, I think I'm all over it. It's, and I think that happened because of my that work mentality, where my health was an afterthought, and little did I know that it was. It's not, because that's what the internet, the hustle culture tells
Yeah,
you.
hustle hard,
Yeah.
skip sleep, work hard while others are sleeping, and so on. But in real life, that doesn't work.
That's
You
not
need
what.
sleep.
Yeah, that's not what smart people do. That's not what rich
yeah.
people do.
Yeah.
They have strict bedtime for their kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
They have constant medical checkups, and
They follow sleep routine. They sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time. Yeah.
right. So it's not really just about getting knowledge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's about
And,
balancing both.
right. Okay. And assuming this podcast is being watched by your future self, and I'm guessing you're gonna watch this podcast when it comes out, right?
Of course.
What are you gonna say to that guy? And he's probably watching it right now. Say hi.
Hi.
So, what do you want to say to that guy?
I hope you'll be glad seeing this podcast. You'll like it.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Mr. Akmal, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the podcast today and sharing with us your personal experiences, your impression of getting nine, and all these stories, amazing insights, and wisdom and knowledge you shared today. It's been honestly enlightening. I've learned a lot. I've gained a lot, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming here. And I hope to see you on the podcast again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. That was great talk. That was great discussion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
Sure. Do you have any final remarks you want to make before we end this podcast? So this is,
Remarks?
I guess.
Should I say something?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
It was all
Peace.
great. Great.
As you usually say, peace.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, today's episode. If you liked our content, please don't forget to subscribe, like our content, and leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.